So, with Warner Brothers being purchased, and it's still being up in the air as far as who they're going to get purchased by, a lot of people are wondering how this is going to affect the movie industry. And also, they're really wondering how it's going to affect the DC movies. Are they going to continue with the James Gunn universe? Are they going to go back to the Snyderverse? Or are they going to do both? Well, let's analyze it. All right, I've analyzed it. All three answers are wrong. I think what people are failing to realize is that DC has some of the biggest characters in the world. I mainly want to talk about Batman and Superman. These are two of the most well known and beloved fictional characters in existence. So, not just in comics and not just in America, but just anywhere on the planet, these are two of the biggest and most beloved characters that exist. Now, I'm not saying they're necessarily one and two, their actual ranking kind of varies from time to time, but both of them are top five, no question about it. But in recent years, none of the Batman or Superman movies have really been reaching those big numbers. The most recent James Gunn Superman only made a little over 600 million. Man of Steel made about 670 million. The Batman, which a lot of people argue is the best Batman movie ever, only made 772 million. And even Batman v Superman, Batman and Superman together for the first time ever only made 874 million. Meanwhile, you got Iron Man on his own cracking a billion in Iron Man 3. And yes, I know they had time to establish the universe, but that's because before these movies, Iron Man was not a well known character outside of comics. And even now, I would argue he's still not as big as Batman or Superman. But once he became a bigger player, he was able to crack a billion on his own. Plus, Black Panther cracked a billion, Captain Marvel cracked a billion, even Aquaman cracked a billion. Every Avengers movie has cracked a billion, and yes, they're team ups, but again, they're with lesser known characters. Before these movies, these were lesser known characters. Even the Guardians of the Galaxy, which are like the real obscure characters, were able to get the same types of numbers that Batman and Superman are getting now. And again, Batman and Superman are some of the biggest characters in the world. It's like being 9 feet tall, but you can't make a slam dunk. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I think both universes, I think the Gunn universe and the Snyderverse, are a disservice to the characters, and they're not reaching these characters' full potential, or not even close to their full potential. And I know the Gunn universe is just starting, but Superman didn't really make that much money. A lot of people didn't really like the last season of Peacemaker. And even with this new Supergirl trailer, over 21 million people have watched this thing, only 370,000 likes. That's not even half. That's not even a quarter. People are not amped about this. And yes, I know he's not directing Supergirl, but he's still overseeing it, and it does look like a James Gunn movie. A lot of people are making the Guardians of the Galaxy reference. And no, it is not because it is in space, because Star Wars is in space, but nobody compared Star Wars to Guardians of the Galaxy or vice versa. You can be in space and not look like Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a stupid defense. Now, if you are a James Gunn fan or a Snyder fan and you still want these movies made anyways, I get that. You're a fan. You're not in charge of Warner Brothers. It's not up to you to make the company money. I get it. All I ask is don't pretend either of these universes are a good financial decision. The James Gunn movies are not going to make DC a ton of money. They're very expensive films. They're only going to make a couple $100 million profit max. It's not going to be a great financial decision for them. The Snyderverse, it does have very passionate fans, but again, the numbers just aren't there. Again, Man of Steel, 670. Batman v Superman, 874. Man of Steel should have been $1 billion, and Batman v Superman should have been $2 billion. They are just falling so short of their potential. They could be above Marvel. Again, Batman and Superman are some of the biggest characters in the world. Either universe is just way down their full potential. And then you definitely don't want to do both, because why would you want to disservice your characters twice? So, as I was doing my editing, I realized I said that these were not the right solutions, but I didn't offer an alternative. Now, I know people really aren't going to like this, but I think what they should do is shut down everything for 5 years. No movies whatsoever, no extended universe, no Elseworlds, none of that. And personally, if it was up to me, I'd even stop the comics. No games, no TV shows, like absolutely no DC. for 5 years. I'd let people get really, really hungry for DC before I started everything up again. And then once I did start everything up again, I would just focus on making good movies. A lot of other people have pointed this out. DC does best when they just focus on making good films. It's what works for them. It also makes them different than Marvel. And look, if you want a Justice League movie or something like that, they don't have to do all of these individual films first. I mean, Ghostbusters, they didn't each have an individual film before they came together as the Ghostbusters, or any other ensemble team. People forget that before Marvel did the extended universe and did the individual films that led to the Avengers, nobody else had ever done this before, not just in comics, but in movies, period. Any other ensemble, again, Ghostbusters, Ocean's 11, any other ensemble, they just introduced the ensemble in one movie. You can absolutely do that. You can just go do a Justice League movie. And then once you've had some success, then if you really, really want to, you could do like the multiverse thing where you start crossing over some of the movies. But again, I think they should really just focus on just trying to make some good films.